want to show you some age-appropriate activities that you can do with polygons. And this activity is a K through 2 activity where you have the students look at something like a football field, something they're familiar with, and they try to find the shapes that are corresponding to the shapes that are in the field. So which of these shapes can you find in this field? And then it goes on to getting into more complex shapes as you go down. Now, even in K through 2, it isn't that we want to just match shapes or give shapes a name. We want to talk about the characteristics of that shape. So, if you are looking at this shape, what are its characteristics? What makes this shape different than this shape? So, even at that early age, we are looking at what makes a square as opposed to what makes a rectangle a rectangle. In grades 3 through 5, an activity that you might do would be to read them a poem and have them create an illustration about that. What does it mean? Like the poem The Light in the Attic, or from the book A Light in the Attic, and the poem about shapes. Another book that I want to share with you that gives the students a way of using the geometric terms in a poem, and then you can have them write their own poems. But there is this one, which is about special parallelograms, the square, the rhombus, and the rectangle. And I'll read you just a little bit. There's more to the parallelogram than you may have seen in the program. Special ones each have a name in order to distinguish their fame. Rhombus and square and rectangle is there. While the concepts are the same, each will play its own game. Parallelogram properties apply to each, with additional properties to teach. So each angle of a rectangle is a critical right angle. So it goes on. And then there are other, it's just a book of poems that deal with different types of, or different concepts in geometry. So this one is about trapezoids. Geometry would have a void without including the trapezoid. Yes, it is a quadrilateral with only two sides that are parallel, which happens to be the bases, but the legs hold different places. So that one's interesting. And this one is about triangles. When we talked earlier in the section about the different names that we could give a triangle based on its angles or based on its sides, the polygon with the least angles has 3. Hence, the triangle is clearly must be 3 edges, 3 angles, a base, and a height. The options are several that we will recite. So this is called Math Odes, Etching Math in Memory by J.A. Bailey. This activity is for grades 6 through 8, and it's called polygon capture. So the students would have these shapes, and then they would have cards that they would draw. So from that, if they drew all angles are right angles and they did not get one of them, let's say that they left out L. L is a right triangle, but they got everything except L, then they lose a turn and they lose their shapes, and their partner is allowed to steal if they catch the fact that they have missed that. So this is a game that the students play with each other, where they have cards that have different conditions, and then they choose from this group all that apply. And then they have a steal card where they select a pair of properties and steal all those polygons from the opponent. And they have a wild card where you pick your own side property. So it's a fun game where the students are practicing the properties of polygons. It's called polygon capture. All of these activities came from the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, the Illuminations website. So there is a wealth of opportunity there for you to find activities that would apply to the concepts that you are teaching. Gives you many options for setting up centers or stations in your classroom, so the students are busy working, not the teacher busy lecturing.